Where words fail, music speaks. This is a quote by Hans Christian Andersen, a Danish writer who is responsible for bringing us wonderful stories such as The Ugly Duckling and The Little Mermaid. And this quote, in my opinion, embodies the nature of music. Where words fail implies a disconnect between words and music. Music is a language, it's a form of communication. Words are not particularly necessary for the furthering of music to communication. And because it's a form of communication, that's probably why I'm giving this speech right now. So often songs are accompanied by rhythmic lyrics, and in my opinion nowadays, I would say there's a lot of shallow music, yet very well thought out lyrics. And even more so, I would say lyrics tend to not always match up with the music that they are accompanying. That is why I chose Visconti Chick by ALI Project. It is a completely instrumental piece and does not have any lyrics whatsoever. So, as an aspiring writer, I think it's probably weird for me to say, but I definitely prefer my music without lyrics. And that's just because I appreciate music. Not that I do not appreciate lyrics themselves, but it's kind of a double-edged sword for me. I really enjoy hearing lyrics, but at the same time, they just really make me think a lot, and sometimes a little too much. Or sometimes the interpretation that I have is different than the interpretation that is supposed to be had by other people listening to the music, since the person writing the song is technically trying to throw out their own message. But I do think that lyrics are a form of poetry. That's because they portray both emotion, sometimes very deep emotion, and rhyme, since they have to go along with music. But ultimately, the fact that they make me think too much is kind of the main reason that I just am not a huge fan of them. So Visconti Chick is a song that sounds almost like a track from maybe an old cinema or something like that. There's no lyrics at all, so it is very easy to just focus on the music at hand. And it starts with an almost distant-sounding chorus of violins. I like distant-sounding anything in music just because it gives me almost a sense of nostalgia. And these violins and the piano to come definitely give me a sense of nostalgia. But ultimately, they make me think of comfort, almost like the loving embrace of a mother or something like that. Quickly, that turns into a far-off feeling of comfort, and that continues into a beautiful piano solo, which is joined in by the violins pretty quickly. And this is very nostalgic for me. I don't necessarily know why. Maybe it is because I watched a lot of Disney movies when I was younger, older Disney movies, that tended to have a lot of music almost similar sounding to the music in Visconti Chick. But that comfort quickly turns into despair as the music suddenly speeds up and intensifies. It sounds to me almost like a lost child who's lost its mother's. Sometimes it's just like a really weird feeling of I don't really know what to do or what's happening, and life, it just comes at you so quickly. And I would say that is very much like growing up. But that music suddenly stops and a hopeful section chimes in. But you still can't really remove the intense feeling, so the last part kind of just goes right back and repeats itself. And then in an almost climactic finish, violins and piano play intensely, almost unharmoniously in my opinion, and then everything just stops. All that is left is a few quiet piano notes that fade out the song, and that's the end of the song. And it's almost, to me, like a long, difficult journey through life reaches its ending point, and peace is found. Of course, there's no way to really know the true story of the song, and it is even difficult to find commentary on, a specific song from artists, especially from ALI Project, who are not English speakers. But the emotions are there nonetheless. There's no words that are needed. No interpretation does it justice, not even my own. It speaks on its own, just like so many other songs do. And even still, through countless personal interpretations that I have had, I think that the theme is growing up. That's just what I have come to a natural conclusion at. Many children are excited to become adults, yet at the same time, they are not usually prepared. They're rarely prepared. And it's kind of scary at first, and yet at the same time, just like the music, it is oddly beautiful. You can find fear, passion, peace, nostalgia, wonder through all of it. In a 2016 interview for Sinra, one of the vocalists for ALI Project, Alika Takarano, says in response to improving her own works and skills, "It is difficult, but if it weren't difficult, there would be no point in doing it. It's boring to always do the same thing. In that sense, aging is a wondrous thing." Sometimes that is hard to understand. Perhaps it's hard to outright say, and in that case, words just fail. But words are not the only form of communication. Visconti Chick may say so many different things, but it effectively speaks to the difficulty and happiness that comes with age, at least in my personal interpretation of it.